Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closers Show. Always excited to have you here. Even more jacked up this morning on the coffee. You know, coffee is for closers, everybody. But anyway, we are excited to have a very special guest with us today on the Note Closers Show. It's my buddy, Scott Duffy. If you don't know who Scott Duffy is, he's a TV online personality and founder of the Breakthrough Mastermind. He began his career working for bestselling author and speaker Tony Robbins. They wanted to work for several small businesses that became big brand like CBS SportsLine, NBC Internet, and foxsports.com. Next, he founded Smart Charter, an online booking tool for private aviation, which was acquired by Richard Branson's Virgin Group. Oh, my God. Scott's got an amazing story he's going to have to share with you about Richard Branson, too. Anyway, today, Scott is a champion for entrepreneurship. He's been listed as a top 10 keynote speaker by Entrepreneur Magazine. He's spoken to the New York Stock Exchange and provided commentary in numerous media outlets, including CNBC, Fox News, and CBS Radio. He's the co-host of Business and Burgers and the best-selling author of Breakthrough, a roadmap for building great companies. So we are so honored to have our buddy, Scott Duffy, join us this morning. Good morning, Scott. You got
nobody told me there were going to be sound effects.
Oh, yeah, dude. I got all sorts of sound effects in here.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. I have to get myself one of those. That's cool.
You know what? If you're a good boy, Santa will bring you one for Christmas.
Awesome.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Rocking and rolling, man. Rocking and rolling. Just keeping busy, man. But, man, I am loving what you are just all over the place, my friend. You are busy speaking everywhere I see you go, which is awesome. You're just absolutely loving life, huh?
Yeah, it's been an amazing year, and I'm really looking forward to 2019. It's good. It's all good. You know, I think just the opportunity the opportunity that all of us have today as entrepreneurs, whether we're speakers or we have a note closing business, a training company, whatever it is, the opportunity to have an impact leveraging social media, leveraging the tools that we didn't have 20 years ago is so amazing. And the fact that, it used to be that big companies like had every advantage because the cost of being an entrepreneur was just so high, and so as a result, innovation moves slowly and things move slowly, and just a lot of people couldn't jump in, right? They couldn't do what they wanted to do. They couldn't have the kind of impact they wanted to have because there's just too much risk. But today, technology's changed the playing field. Social media has changed the playing field, and so it's really cool because I think as entrepreneurs, we not only have access to the same tools as the big guys, and they're really affordable, right? But I think that there's an advantage to being small, to being an entrepreneur. And the advantage is that you can get closer to customers. You can iterate faster, right? And so it's like today, small is the new big.
Right.
It's like today, it's like, entrepreneurs are the new David. And we smash down that Goliath every single day. And it's really cool. And this scares the hell out of big companies. And it scares the hell out of big companies because it used to be they could look outside their window and they could see all their competitors. It was that simple. But today it's like millions of entrepreneurs nibbling at their feet, which is amazing. It's just awesome.
It totally, the landscape has totally changed. And we've known each other for I think about 7-8 years now. The landscape has changed dramatically in just the last 7-8 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it has.
It's totally crazy. There's so many more options, like you said. We have the same tools that the big guys have. I was reading an article the other day about how like Starbucks runs this, $24 billion company, and their social media is run by like 7 people.
Yeah,
8 people.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, so I remember, like you talked about Virgin. So when I started Smart Charter. And I remember we moved into this big office in Santa Monica at the airport, and we had to go buy email servers for this company. So we had this big room, and it had all of these servers in it, and we needed our IT people to everything was so expensive, right? And now you just get Gmail and it's free. And see, that's what's so cool is that, and it's hard for a big company because here's what happens today. What happens today is that somebody wakes up and they have an idea and they share it with others. And the company gets bigger. Well, this is the way it used to happen. Get bigger, bigger, bigger. And as a customer, I was buying that one thing from that company. And let's say it cost me, $20 a month. Well, what happens is over time, that company becomes more successful. It has to hire more people, which means it needs more space, and its costs continue to go up. So what does it do? It either raises its prices, or it goes out there and it adds new features in order to do so, right? You raise price for the core product, or you add more features, and you just bolt them up. One day what happens, in today's world, is somebody wakes up and they get their bill and they're like, wait a second, this is costing me $99 a month now. And I started at 19. And so they're pissed off and they go, okay, here's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I am going to start my own company, and I'm just going to do that one thing I originally signed up for. So they go online, they use a free tool, they incorporate, right? They get on LinkedIn, they share how pissed they are with some of their friends, and an engineer goes, I hate big companies too. I'll code for you for free. They go on social media and they start to test it. And so here's the thing. In like 90 minutes, for like $90, they've started a company. And it's really tough because they not only charge less than that $99 the big company was charging, they give it away for free. And so you have you've got this dilemma as the big company, because you cannot change now because of you can't adapt. There are just so many advantages to being an entrepreneur. And what's amazing about this time of the year is a great time to be thankful for all that we have and start thinking about next year and how we can really make an impact.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because so many people come to the end of the year like, oh man, I'm falling behind my goals. I didn't go work out this year. Or I didn't start the group I wanted to do, or I haven't hit my financial goals, or I'm still in the job and I'm not going to get the raise that I want to. Mm-hmm. There's never been an easier time for people to put all that kind of that mental bullshit aside, and literally go out and start taking action. And there's so many things that you can literally start doing now. Start doing in your side hustle. Start doing your 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. like Gary Vee likes to say.
Yeah.
And so you've built some big companies. How has your mindset changed in the last few years? Because you've completely kind of re-engineered, recreated Scott Duffy for a little bit. You know what I mean?
For sure. Well, I think, so for me, it's really fun because when we tell all these stories about these big brands and stuff, I kind of laugh, as you're like saying that bio, because, it's never that easy, right? When you line up all the big brands, it's never that easy, right? And all of us go through it. We all go through ups and downs, highs and lows, good times. The money is in, the money's gone, the money comes back. We all go through it. We all share that experience. And, I think for me personally, I was really affected when the market crashed. I went from having what I thought was just so much to having nothing, being $400,000 in debt, having my first kid, being pregnant with the second. All that happened in 9 months. So check this out.
That's usually what happens when kids arrive, Scott. There's something happens, and then 9 months later, kids show up.
Well, it does. But I lost, like it was horrible. And so I'll tell you a story. So when that happened, I think for me personally, what did I do? I think I did what, every good entrepreneur would do, which is I curled up in the fetal position in the corner of the room. That's what I did. And I did that for months. I look back at it. And what stands out to me is that my psyche wasn't strong enough. And I'm not going to let that happen again. But here's the thing. I'm in the fetal position. One day I get a call, and a buddy calls me and he said, "Hey, Scott," he said, I heard that you're on the market. I heard you're looking for a company to run." And I said, "I am." And he goes, "You're hired." And I go, "I'm hired." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Are you crazy? Why wouldn't I have you come run my company?" He said, I said, what am I going to do? He said, "What does it matter? You're not working. Like, I'm in the fetal position. What does it matter?" He said, "Come have lunch with me today and we'll talk about it." So I remember I was in such a low place. And when that call came, I was so excited. And I went and I was high-fiving around the house, and I was like doing my dance, my happy dance. And I drove out to Pasadena to meet with this guy. I sat down and said, "I have a question. What is it that you want me to run?" And he said, "You know what?" He said, "Since we talked this morning, And the time you got here, said, I decided I don't want you to run this company anymore. I was like, really? He said, yeah. He said, I want you to be a salesman. And I said, well, that's cool. And I'm really grateful. I said, I've got some, maybe I can also contribute some more. He goes, I want you to sell. I said, fine. I said, what am I going to sell? And he said this, pee. I said, what? He said, you're going to sell pee. And I said, what's that mean? He said, look, he said, I just bought a research lab and we specialize in processing urine. And he said, so here's the thing. What we do is we go to all the doctor's offices and, when people have to pee in a cup, he said, what we do is we get the cup. We run it through a thing and then we give a report to the doctor that they can share with the patient. And he goes, I have a vision for you. I'm like, oh, here it comes. I was down at this point. He said, here's the vision. He said, my vision is that in 1 year, you're going to call in all the doctor's offices here in Southern California, and you're going to win their pee business. He said, my vision for you is in 1 year, you will be the king of pee. And that was my very first job offer after running a company for Virgin that I sold to Virgin. That's what happened. So like all this completely upside down, all that. So what I do, right? A lot of people ask, did I take the job? And the answer is no, I didn't take the job. What I did is I got really pissed off.
Literally.
I got pissed. I got pissed at everybody and everything. I was pissed at the market. I was pissed at the economy. I was pissed at the way I looked because it was somebody else's job. I looked so stressed out. And I was pissed at everybody. And what I did is I went out to people. I had I still do. I've gotten a great network. And I went out to a lot of incredible people. And I said, I need help. Would you coach me? And I kept trying to start companies and they weren't working. And I'd never gone through anything like this. And I couldn't understand. And eventually I kind of hit my low point. And believe it, Greg always talks about Greg Reed, you're 3 feet from gold. I mean, I didn't think it could get worse than being asked to sell pee at the time, but it did. It just kept getting worse. And maybe there's people out there that can relate to this, where you're in this spiral and you're like, oh, and so it did. So eventually one day I was just, my tank was out of gas and I had hired all the best coaches. Everyone was telling me I was doing all the right things. No one could figure out why I couldn't turn it around. And I called my buddy, David Meltzer, and I love him to death. I love him for this. And I said to Dave, Dave, I don't understand. And he said this, he said, Scott, he said, here's the problem. We're going to stop working on your business and we're going to start working on your head. And he said, we're going to do 4 things. And these are the 4 things that changed my life. He said, number 1, you're going to be accountable for every single thing in your life. Total accountability. And number 2, he said, you're going to forgive yourself for everything. And to me, that was the hardest part. And I still struggle with it sometimes. He said, number 3, you're going to find the lesson in everything. And number 4, you're going to be grateful for it. And he said, and the way that you're going to get started is you're going to practice something for the next 30 days. What you're going to do is 2 times a day at the same time each day, you're going to have a gratitude alarm go off on your cell phone. And he said, when that happens, you're going to say thank you, because gratitude changes everything. Mm-hmm. And the reason is it shifts your perspective from what you don't have to what you have. And if you do that twice a day for 30 days, your life will change. And so I practiced those things and that's what happened. And finally, you asked me what I've learned and changes and stuff like that. When things don't work for us and we've been successful at anything, what we tend to do is we tend to double down on what worked. Mm-hmm. So for me, I was trying to start these companies using a way of doing it that I was really fucking good at. I was really, really good at that and doing it that one way. And so I kept coming back to that way, but the world was changing. And what I learned is this. What I learned is whatever it is that you are just amazing or were amazing at 5 years ago, your one skill, your superhero power, that thing that made you 5 years ago is your baggage today.
Oh my gosh, that's good. I didn't even interrupt you. Sorry, that's just good stuff, Scott.
Yeah, that's the number one lesson I learned. And so today, with things moving as fast as they are, we have to do this: be accountable for everything, forgive ourselves for everything, learn from everything, be grateful for everything. And we have got to be absolutely crazy, obsessively passionate with learning, because the world moves so fast.
That's so true, man. That's so true. I think, and that's one of the big things I with coaching people and talking with investors. So many people are bringing baggage of, oh, I went through divorce, or I've been through bankruptcy, I've been through a short sale 7 years ago, or I'm getting laid off, or got laid off, or things like that. And I'm like, listen, welcome to the club. You know,
Serious.
You know, everybody goes through those things. So
yeah. Well, and I love what you just said. Welcome to the club, because you know, if you ask an entrepreneur how you doing, there's only, did you know, if you have the entrepreneur gene, there's only one answer to that question, and the answer is doing great, right? I'm doing awesome, even if things are totally in the toilet, right? Because we have to. It's really tough. It's a tough balancing act, because we have to be strong, right? We have to exude confidence in what it is that we're doing. We have to basically, that confidence has to come out with our investors, with our employees, with our partners, with our family who's equally invested with us in these ventures. And so when somebody asks how we're doing, we say great. And I think one of the challenges that entrepreneurs have is asking for help, because they think that there's shame associated with it. They think that they're going to be judged for it. But the thing about people who are successful is they have all been through shit as bad, if not worse than you. And what's amazing, incredibly amazing, like amazing, is when you're part of that club of going through it and sticking with it, you will always help somebody with empathy on the other side. So there's this incredible power to asking, and there's an incredible badge of honor in being able to give to people that are asking. So if there is something that if you're stuck in a particular area, keep moving. You know, I mean, if you're stuck in a particular area, find somebody out there who's producing the exact result that you want, and tell them where you are. And the more vulnerable you are, the more they will help you.
Oh, that's so true. So true. We as entrepreneurs have to keep shit flowing uphill. We don't let shit flow downhill, because
it's true.
It's the truth. We can't share it with our clients. We can't share it with our spouses, because everybody looks to us to lead a lot of times, and you can't let that negative. Then it just, oh, you're in a horrible mood. You got to keep it going to your mentors, or if you say, like your peers or your mastermind of people that are doing the same thing, to really talk with those people that are on that same level as you, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's true. It's, you know, and I think as it relates to the people at home. So, you know, I used to think back in the day, because I started a company or I had a key role in a company, that I was the most important person in that company. And nothing's further from the truth. What I learned is the most important person in any company as an entrepreneur isn't you. The most important person in the company is the person you come home to. Mm. And they have the worst job in your business. Yeah. And I don't call them the CEO for Chief Executive Officer. I have a new word for them. They're the CVO. They're the Chief Venting Officer. Because we have no one to talk to, so we come home and just blah, right? And the thing is, and this is incredibly important, there's some people, well, first of all, before you start anything, or if you're in something, before you go a step further, you have to be on the same page with that person at home about how much time and how much money you're willing to risk. I would rather give less time, or risk less and be on the same page, versus doing more and then having that person at home always sleeping with one eye open at night. The second thing is, everyone has a different communication strategy. So some chief venting officers, they want to hear everything. Like, they want the blow by blow. Other people, that's just way too much. What they want is, you know, they can hear it like once a week, whatever. And it's not, because here's what we do. What we do is we get home. It's 11 o'clock at night, It's time to go to sleep. And just about everybody just about we're going to close our eyes. It's like blah, and we let it all out. And we feel amazing, and we sleep like Rip Van Winkle. The person next to us doesn't sleep at all because they're up all night worrying. So you have to understand not only how much communication, but when to provide that communication. And that's a conversation that you need to have that most people never do.
That's so true. So true about there being not an event, because I'm just thinking of Steph right now. She's my CVO. Coming home, how's your day? Oh, it was great. What's the matter? Oh, nothing wrong, or vice versa. And you've got to have that sounding board, but you also, sometimes it's better to filter through some things like, okay, I'm going to save a little bit. I don't need to hit her all with this, or vice versa. We don't hit our spouses all with things that are going on. Kind of have to take it out in pieces a little bit, and you have to kind of judge what your CVO is capable of absorbing at that time, or how their day went, because sometimes you don't want to shovel it all on there, right?
Right. But doesn't it feel good to let it out?
Oh, it totally feels good to vent sometimes. But it's funny is Steph gives me a hard time because I'm like, oh, how was the day? It was good. It was good. Bad things I have to let slide off my back. Because if I can fix it, don't worry about it. If it can't be fixed, well, don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
If I can fix it, I'll reach out to somebody to take care of it. It's out of my head, and I hold myself accountable to things. But there's still things that just don't happen. And as entrepreneurs, a lot of times we're spinning different plates out there. We have to the hardest thing sometimes is to delegate that plate of venting, right?
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing sometimes.
Yeah. And I think that as entrepreneurs, there's two so I always say that life is made up of super balls and glass balls. And what I mean is, as entrepreneurs, we're always juggling. And from time to time, because we're juggling so much, our family, our home, our this, our work, our employees, that from time to time we drop a ball. And rubber balls, they bounce, and glass balls shatter. And a rubber ball is something to me like business. Like if I unplug, if I drop that business ball for a little bit and I go away, but I come back and I really reapply, things are going to come right back, right? A glass ball is something like your health, where if you drop it, you may never be able to get it back. And so I think we have to determine what are the glass and the rubber balls in our life. And I think that as entrepreneurs, the other thing that we have to do is we have to know what the most important job of an entrepreneur it is. Like, what is the reason to be in business today? And the reason to be in business today is to be in business tomorrow. And what we need to do is we need to focus. The first thing that we need to do, especially if we're starting, like if you're thinking about 2019 and you're planning to start a new business, the number one thing you need to be thinking about is this. It's going to take more time. It's going to cost more money and all that kind of stuff. So what you need to do is make sure that you have a solid financial foundation to at least pay your minimum expenses. So if that means a job, maybe it's part-time versus full-time, right? If that means a consulting agreement, if that, whatever it is, it's so important. It's so important before we do anything to get our financial footing on the basics, because what tends to happen is being an entrepreneur is filled with ups and downs. It's a very stressful job. And so if we don't have the financial foundation set, when things get stressful, we tend to go to a low point and we make these big decisions from these low points. And that just takes us off into, it's a disaster. It's a slippery slope.
No, that's totally right. Because that's what, especially if you're coming home to a spouse, they're often worried about bills being paid. Whereas entrepreneurs are thinking about, the next big deal that we're working through. Yep. And that's one of the things we'd like to try to tell our mastermind members, students, like, listen, hey, figure out how many deals you got to do to cover your basis. You know what I mean? Don't jump full feet in, leave your job if you don't have any residuals coming in, if you don't have any cash flow coming in.
Exactly.
Make that transition a little bit, but know what your KPIs are, how many offers you got to make, how many deals you got to close to hit that number, and transition from there. And that's, some people don't think that, I'm just going to quit my job tomorrow. I'm like, well, is that a good thing? Mm-hmm. Or, hey, I want to do what you're doing. I'm like, well, do you have reserves? Do you have some money saved? Or do you have other money coming? No. I was like, well, no, then you need a job.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it really is. It's so true. And we can't forget that. I really run into this issue when I'm working with people that have nonprofits. So what happens is they're so passionate about their cause that they get it backwards.
Mm-hmm.
They focus on giving first. And what you have to focus on is building a solid business that generates cash. And once you do that first, then you can leverage that cash. Otherwise you don't stick around. As our friend Les Brown would say, fill your cup first and let what overflows feed other people. So it's really important, that foundation.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. So many people that are passionate about their nonprofits, they're starving. They're barely surviving a lot of times. Or you think about people that want to do some things, they can't afford to pay their power bill, but then they're going to the church and donating all this extra money to church. Like, listen,
right.
God helps those that help themselves. Take a little time, pay your bills, and then write a bigger check later on and do some real good versus a little bit here, a little bit there, right?
Well, I have an expression. I actually, I got this from Dave, and I integrated it into my life. My mission is I want to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. And when I say that, sometimes what happens is people get upset that I start with make a lot of money. How could you do that? Here's the thing. By making a lot of money, what I'm able to do is I'm able to access more of my pure potential. I'm able to invest in courses. I'm able to travel to see people. I'm able to buy programs. I'm able to do things to help me grow in a way that I couldn't if I didn't have money. I'm able to use that money to help other people. I'm able to use that money to have more fun. And so, we need to start, not finish, from that mindset. Making money is a really, 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 really good thing. It's really important. If you want to be your best, if you want your company to be its best, you need to generate cash. And that cash is going to give you opportunities to grow and to contribute in ways that you just can't do it if you're broke.
That's the truth. Such truth stuff out there. Now, Scott, talk a little about your book that came out, Breakthrough. Amazing book, bestseller. Talk about some of the things that inspired you to write that book.
Well, what inspired this particular book is I wrote a book about 3-4 years ago called Launch. And the idea was how to take your idea to market. And, I have been really incredibly fortunate because I've worked on the ground floor of a handful of companies that over time became big brands. And I was really fortunate to work with and be hired by some incredible, insane entrepreneurs that I got to learn from. And what happened in those experiences, SportsLine USA becoming, what's now CBS Sports.com, and NBC doing this thing, or Zoom became NBC Internet, and Fox Sports is I really developed a formula for taking an idea to market, right? And created a process and a system for that. And I wanted to share that with other people. And because these companies that I had worked with had exits relatively quickly, I didn't really necessarily have to think about growth and scale in the same way. And so I was really like a launch guy. And so over the last 2 years, I really have become absolutely kind of crazy, fanatical, passionate about learning not only how people take an idea to market today, because the world changes. Remember your baggage 5 years ago, take to today. And then how, once they get it to market, how do you grow and scale and position for sale? And so I went out there and I talked to everybody, and I've interviewed everyone, Damon John and Nicole Arbor and Sarah Blakely, and what I've really distilled what I've learned into this book, Breakthrough. It is really a step-by-step systematic approach to doing those things, and it's fun because what we do is we share. I'm not going to just share how do you write a business plan. I'm going to share how somebody wrote theirs and the breakthroughs that they had in the process, and stories that go along with it, and try and make this whole process just really fun. And that's what Breakthrough is all about.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff out there. It's a great book. Now you also have an amazing Breakthrough Mastermind. Share a little about that, Scott. For those.
Yeah. So that's my passion right now. So we have a group, we call it the Tribe, and we get together 3 times a year, and for 3 days at each event. And we are a group of people whose culture is absolutely 1,000% committed to seeing everybody in our tribe win. And so what we do is we get personal. We bring in great trainers to address current issues that our members are having. Everyone gets up in front of the group. They share where they are today, what their needs and wants are. We all work together to contribute to help them to get there. But what's also fun is I got a big bucket list, like all these fun things I want to do before I kick the bucket. And what we do is we combine each event with a once in a lifetime experience. So whether it's watching, a New York Yankees game with, the general manager of the Yankees in his war room, learning everything you need to know about, how this person manages teams, uses analytics, all kinds of crazy stuff. Or in January, training with Navy SEALs in San Diego, or fly fishing with a pack of billionaires in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. What we do is we bring these once in a lifetime events that really help to open your mind, create bonds with people that will be just amazing resources for you in the future. Mm-hmm. And by the way, if you want more information on the mastermind, go to scottduffy.com and you'll be able to apply for the mastermind there. And also, if you are interested in the book Breakthrough, I highly recommend you get it. If you're interested in Breakthrough, it's scottduffy.com. You can find it as well. And if you order the book on scottduffy.com, we'll give you a free business breakthrough checklist, which is a step-by-step guide for everything that you need to be considering during every stage of your business.
Awesome. Good stuff. We'll have some links to that on the show page as well, to your page as well. Amazing book. And I love what you're doing with the mastermind out there. I think masterminds are a critical part of an entrepreneur, not only with people in your business, but getting outside of your business sometimes. Yeah. Talking to other people that are doing different things. And I think our buddy Greg likes to say, the average of the 5 people we hang around the most. If you're not liking the income you're making or the average you're at right now, go find 4 more friends and hang out with them, right?
That's right. It's the craziest thing. I always challenge people to do this because we hear that thrown around all the time. Just do this. If you don't believe Scott or you don't believe me, just do this. Write down the list, write down the names of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's so simple. Next to each one, what you think they earn. Add it all up and divide by 5. That is exactly what you earn. It is so crazy the way this works. And you can apply that same formula to every area of your life. People who are fit, hang around fit people. People who are smart, hang around smart people. People who just suck, hang around people who suck. And so, what you really need to do is pay attention, because the difference between where you are now and where you want to go may be as simple as the last 5 numbers you dialed on your cell phone today.
That's huge. That's a good point out there. Yeah. Take the 5 that you're around and average what you think, and that's what you're worth. You're right. You're totally right about that, Scott. People have to up it, especially in 2009. If you want to do some things, and it's not saying you can't hang around the people that you enjoy, your friends, but sometimes we got to evolve. Yeah. And sometimes you've got to do bigger, better things to get where you ultimately want to be. Because sometimes I think we all agree we have friends around us that are very happy at status quo where they're at right now. They don't want to grow. They're happy being in the beer leagues or, spending time, whatever they're doing. And if you're an entrepreneur, we all have a little bit of a crazy mind. We always want to do bigger things, better things, expand ourselves. Just go find some people out there. Trust me. There's plenty of people out there. You've got a network, Scott. I got a great network out there. We love hanging with those people, and they've really helped us make those breakthroughs in life, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. For sure. Well, Scott, I know you're a busy guy. I want to say thank you so much for coming on the Note Closer Show. Once again, guys, check out the book Breakthrough. Go to scottduffy.com. Check it out there. Check out the mastermind. Amazing stuff. Yeah. You had batting. Did you have batting practice at Yankee Stadium too, or was it hanging out with just Cashman?
Oh my gosh. We had this insane behind the scenes tour. We were in this war room that, I heard about this, but I wasn't really sure it existed. And in Yankee Stadium, in the GM's office, there's this room with these TVs and the head of player analytics and the head of player development and the head of this and the head of that. And it's really interesting to watch them watch a game, because this is a business, and they notice things that they're, you wouldn't normally see as a fan. I mean, we had the premier suite behind home plate, and we brought these incredible speakers inside of that suite. And so we just, like I said, we try and make it fun, and we try and make it an experience. And I think what we have coming up with the Navy SEALs is the kind of access that we're going to have, and what you'll learn from the people who lead these teams is going to be incredible.
Awesome. Good stuff there, Scott. Well, Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing more stuff, more breakthroughs. You're doing a great job, man. Look forward to seeing you. I guess we'll see you in San Diego for traffic and conversion again this year. Is that correct?
Yeah, coming up.
Awesome stuff, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the Note Closer Show today. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family too, Scott.
You too.
And we'll see you later, bud. All right?
Take care, brother.
Thanks, bud. Bye.